Intelligence. All life upon Earth has reason for being. All life has purpose, and all life on Earth has some form of intelligence. So many people are having a very difficult time accepting that the world does not revolve around mankind. Humans have a hard time accepting that we're not the only intelligent life form that exists. We are made to believe that we are the most advanced, that we are the most intelligent. But the truth is relevant to the viewer's perception. In fact, the intelligence level of animals is absolutely astonishing. So human intelligence is not unique whatsoever. It's found all throughout the animal kingdom in various forms and levels. Humans are a form of an animal. Thus, all animals have a spirit. All animals are cognitive to a certain degree. All animals have the same wants and needs as humans do. So if you believe that animals don't have a spirit and that they don't have a soul, you're sadly mistaken. Life itself is a miracle, and every living species upon Earth has the same basic wants and needs. And like I stated before, the animal kingdom has a huge, vast amounts of talents and extraordinary abilities way above the abilities of mankind. In so many areas, they're too numerous to list. But we'll stick with the one aspect of cognitive intelligence. So I apologize, I had to redo this video for the third time because YouTube took it down, claiming copyright. So basically I was showing that the Primate Research Institute in Japan was holding studies of the mental capacity for memory. For this intelligence test, they used a college graduate who had a set of 9 numbers in front of him. All he had to do was memorize where the 9 numbers are, and when he was ready, he would touch 1, and then the numbers would be hidden, and he would just have to memorize where the numbers were, 1 through 9. Sounds simple enough, but this college graduate, after 30 attempts, was only able to get all 9 numbers correct 1 time. Then they gave the same test to Ayamu, who is a chimpanzee, and they gave him the same exact test of 9 numbers, and they showed him the numbers, then they hid the numbers, and it was absolutely amazing. This chimpanzee was able to get the numbers correct 90% of the time. In other words, almost every single time, the chimpanzee was able to outdo the human. And it literally took the chimpanzee just a few seconds, no more than 3 seconds, to get all numbers correct. So like this guy says, intelligence is relative, and the chimp wins. So I apologize, but I actually had to redo this section as well about this crow. Basically, they were saying the intelligence level of crows is very high, and we don't even understand the full potential and the intellectual abilities of a crow. So there's more studying that needs to be done. But basically the crow is able to, use tools to obtain its food in different ways and problem solve, like by dropping rocks into the water so that the water level rises so that the food can be taken by the crow. It's absolutely amazing. And it actually has to see what's going on so that it can problem solve. Astonishing. Now the cognitive ability of this crow is absolutely amazing. It's given a choice of a few different size sticks, and it knows the shorter one's not going to work, so it definitely goes for the longer stick and is able to retrieve the food. The intelligence of this crow is amazing. There is a long stick that it can reach the food with, but it can't reach the stick. So a medium-sized stick is actually tied to a string the crow is able to identify it and use the shorter stick in order to reach the longer stick that is hidden inside of the device. It'll use this shorter medium stick to reach in and grab the longer stick because it knows that that medium stick won't work in order to get the food. It's not long enough. So the black crow has a cognitive ability to problem solve, showing a high level of intelligence. So I just uploaded this video, but I had to take it down and delete it because YouTube claimed that it was copyrighted, a portion of it, which is bullshit because this is actually, falls within the guidelines of copyright law. Anyway, let's get back to what I was trying to show here in this segment, which was about a black crow. So basically the video I was showing was about a black crow, or these crows actually, that developed the cognitive intellectual ability to problem solve. And the problem that they solved was cracking a nut. Now, the nuts are not easily cracked. So what they would do is they would fly really high in the air, and then they would drop the nut and it would crack, and then they would eat it. But it's not always successful, and it takes a lot of effort and energy. So the birds actually used their cognitive abilities, their intellectual abilities, their brain, and they were able to use their environment to solve their problem. So what these birds or crows would do is they would hang out over the traffic. But when they dropped the nuts in the traffic, it was hard to get to because of all the cars, and it would kill the birds, obviously. So they learned to use their environment to their advantage. And what they did is they would actually place themselves over the wires of the crosswalk. And they would drop it there. The cars would go by and crush the nut. They would wait for the street light to change for the crosswalk pedestrians. The sound would make a little beeping sound, and then they would know that they could cross the street, and then they would go out there and they would eat their nut. So I was basically showing this segment, and I had to come back and redo it and basically talk you through what was actually going on. It was very interesting video clips. So this is a prime example of an animal showing cognitive intellectual abilities.
Octopuses are absolutely smart. They exhibit intelligence. I see them problem solve, which is the most impressive part. They teach themselves how to fix problems. There's a lot of signs of intelligence there without doubt.
One problem Ruby has learned to solve is unscrewing the lid on a glass jar that holds a tasty little shrimp.
Whoa. Placed it right into his
Never
mouth.
any background. But it all happens in about 7/10.
They used brain power to create camouflage. This principle of parsimony, Roger chose to study a cephalopod called the cuttlefish. The animal's brain measures the amount of contrast in its surroundings and then alters its skin to display a similar amount of light and dark.
We say this is a window into the brain because the skin is a representation of the neural activity. This takes a lot of neural processing, takes a lot of decision making, and this is what we call cognition and thinking, and it all translates into some form of intelligence.
Intelligence. Someday we'll have a better understanding of how it enables cephalopods to change their physical appearance so radically, and how they use their brains for other tasks we're just beginning to identify.
This little guy's been working for about 15 minutes, and I had the lid on tight because I didn't want to make it easy for him. And so now you see him, he's thinking about giving up. But one more try here, and you see him actually start turning the lid, and then once he realizes, he takes hold of it, unscrews it, grabs the lid, runs to the neighbor's yard and hides it, and then comes back for his reward.
So this footage is actually really incredible of this elephant painting, and to most people that may not seem, to show a high rate of intelligence, but you're wrong actually. This elephant doesn't just repeat an image over and over, which would still be a level of intelligence, but it has the cognitive ability to A, grasp what it's doing. It understands what it's painting. It knows it's painting an elephant. And it also paints other objects besides elephants. And all of the images that it creates are all different. So it's just not repeating something. It understands the basic forms of what it's making. It understands what it's doing, and it seems to enjoy it. It understands when the paint goes dry and it needs to be re-dipped again in the paint so it can continue to paint what it's doing. So this video footage only shows the elephant painting one painting, but it shows it from beginning to end. And this is a 6-year-old elephant, by the way. And it shows the, clear canvas, and then it shows the elephant with no guidance besides the man helping the elephant dip the paintbrush. There's no guidance in the construction or the outline of the painting. It's able to paint its pictures the way the elephant sees fit. It paints them different every time. It's amazing. So animals can learn from us, and believe me, we can learn from animals, as we have for thousands of years. In fact, the Bible even talks about, watching the animal kingdom and learning from it. And the bees, okay, so bees are a very organized species. And of course, this is reflected in our behavior, which is why you better behive, because all bees behave. That's why all beeves behive for the queen, exactly like humans. So there are a lot of examples of animal intelligence out there. I just showed a few examples. I encourage you to look up some YouTube videos and check it out for yourself. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and wisdom.